I brought it up in passing. It was your last podcast, 2 podcasts ago or something. I think we do really need to consider trading Devin Bush this offseason.
Explain why, though.
Because right now, I can't say his value is at an all-time high, but his cap hit at $8 million coming into this season. I know we're going to have a lot of cap space with free agency and stuff, but $8 million is pretty significant. $8 million could get you another sick linebacker. $8 million could get you a sick dude on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Right now, I think a team would probably trade for Devin Bush because he was a first-round pick with us, has upside still, and I think most teams think, oh, man, we get you in the system, we could fix you up, right? $8 million for a dude we're talking about replacing in the draft right now is egregious to me, actually, when you think about it. So why wouldn't we just cut bait, get rid of the $8 million, and we could spend that $8 million on a linebacker we know can jump in right now and start? Or we draft a defensive lineman. Or not draft a defensive lineman, we pick up a defensive lineman. Then all of a sudden, all right, we got the defensive line taken care of. We don't have to draft Jordan Davis.
Right.
Let's draft Kobe Dean, and he's going to be the guy going forward. So I just feel in terms of his value right now, weirdly, might be, I don't want to say at a high, but it could be, depending on how he plays this year. We could actually get some for him, as opposed to seeing how the year plays out. If he does the same thing he did last year, we just let him walk. We get nothing in return, and he's just taking up $8 million in our cap space.
Yeah. So for me, man, I think you're onto something, but I don't think that's the conversation that most people like to have, because most people only focus on Devin and, man, we think he can be the guy. We want him to develop. We want to play. We could do this and do that. But it's like right now you're getting to that crossroads of what it costs for him versus productivity, and what
it's not even close. Right now, it's not even close.
So where he's at right now, yeah, I mean, in theory, it makes perfect. It makes even more sense than the Chase Claypool thing. You know, when we talked about that, just in the sense of, I could tell you,
you're not even trading Bush for anything back. Right. You trade him for 6 or 7 round pick. It's more of the cap space, just so you could do some more in free agency.
Right. But the thing to me, man, I do think that you would still get I would probably say a 4th round pick, depending on what team you're talking with, for Devin, just because he has all the intangibles. I cut the tape on. I can still point to him running fast. I can point to him shuffling. I can even point to him making a couple of plays. But I ask myself, if I'm an outside coach and I'm considering trading for him, do I feel like I have the linebacker coach that can get the best out of him? Do I feel like I have the guy that is better than a Jerry O? Do I have the guy that is going to be better than whoever else? Because I forgot when Jerry O's wife passed away and he took some time off, who stepped in during that time frame. But if you have a linebackers coach, like, for example, I remember, I think it was out in Seattle, they had Ken Norton Jr. for a while, right? It's like, yo, you got Ken Norton Jr., you're not worried about, can you develop Devin Bush? Because you know he can develop Devin Bush. Yeah, because he's the one who developed Bob Wagner and KJ Wright, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So it's like, man, if you got guys like that, it's like, yeah, you're good. But if you're questioning, hey, I don't know how I feel about my linebackers coach, then you probably wouldn't do that. But most teams feel confident about their staff. Most teams always feel like they got the guys in-house that, hey, man, we can get the mess up. We can get that out of him. Because Devin can still, he has position flexibility in the sense of you can put, or scheme flexibility. He can be a 4-3 or 3-4 guy just based on the size and speed that he plays with. He's short, but he's not a little guy in the sense of, like, when you think of Shazier was small. He was
small frame.
Right. Devin is not like that. Devin, if you teach him to just be more consistent punching and play faster in terms of getting downhill before those linemen get up on him, he can do everything you want him to do. But you just have to, number one, believe that he's going to develop, or number two, that he even has a desire and the work ethic to do that. That, to me, would be the thing that would make me hesitant if I'm a coach and I'm watching him on tape. Because the biggest criticism that I've had for him is, I think he needs to watch more film so then he can know where he's doing and know what he's doing and just play faster. And I thought when he was with Vince took that away from him in the sense of having to think. Vince was just like, yo, I got this. I'm going to tell you what to do. You just play. He didn't have that. So I'm asking, okay, can he develop it? I would have wanted him to have developed that at some point these first couple of years, but it's like, where are we at right now, you know? Because if it was watching him on tape and he was always in the right spot, but he was getting shook. He was always in the right spot, but just getting out of ring. He was always in the right spot, but just a second late. That's Robert Spillane, by the way. We would say, oh, it was the knee. That's what we say, right? What did we say? We would say, yo, it was the knee. That's why he couldn't do it. But that wasn't the case, right? You laughing? I'm for real.
Just Spillane taking a shot right now.
No, it's not like not in a negative way.
I know.
But like with Spillane, what's the big knock on Spillane? Athletically, he's not the most gifted player. But we know he's smart as heck. He typically is always in the right position, and he's always going to be finishing where he's supposed to. But he's going to be a step late. If he's in coverage, he's going to get beat. But if it's against the run, he's going to be physical and knock something out. Like I said with Devin, it's like he has. If it was like that, and he was just always a step late, then I would just solely rely on the excuse of it was the knee. But when I'm watching him and I'm like, you're not getting out athleted. You don't look like a bad athlete. You look like a great athlete at times. That to me goes back to what's in here. What are you seeing? What are you thinking of? And that's the part where I would have to question part of it, coaching. But the other part is you have to have a desire to want to be that guy. You have to have a desire to want to watch tape. You have to have a desire to want to go in there and just continue to improve. When I listen to a guy like Shazier, I don't have to listen. I've actually seen it. Got it. It's like, okay, I want to watch more tape. Okay, I'll come in here at 7. I'll come in an hour before we're supposed to be here. Okay. I want to watch even more tape. I'll come in 2 hours before I want to be here. Like Shay was getting up at 5 a.m, round the clock. But you saw what? A crazy uptick in his play recognition and ultimately his productivity. So for me, that's why I just continue to say, if you want to continue with Devin or you want him to be the guy, or even if Devin wants to be the guy, like watch more film, increase that study habit, man, because to me, I think that'll help him out a ton, man.
What do you think Jayon Brown's going to be getting?
Oh, I don't know. What you think?
I don't know. Is $8 million enough? Like, could we get him for $8 million?
I'm trying to think. What was his number?
Donta Hightower's out there. John Bostic, he ain't coming back.
Nah.
So he right now it's saying $5.3 million for 2021, but I'm sure he's looking for something bigger right now. Yeah. Gonna be 27. I'm just saying, even if it's like 10 million, even if it's like double digits, even because that $8 million, all of a sudden now we're only paying him $2 million because you'd be splitting the difference.
I know.
And then we could draft like Devin Lloyd or something.
Yeah.
Think of that.
Like I said, it makes sense. It does. For me, my biggest hiccup is this. I still think that, man, if he just watches one trick, man, he could do it. But if you can't make a guy have a desire, right. You can't make a guy want to do that. And that's the other part. It's like, I mean, we hear how he responds at times. Like I said, we can only go off of what we see and what he says. But at times it just doesn't look like he has that crazy radical passion to just be obsessed with this thing. And not everybody is like that, and that's fine. But
all right, I'm wrong actually. Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was $8 million.
What is it?
It's 6. Still.
Dude, still $6 million. Like,
I don't know why I thought 8.
Maybe he's thinking about an extra $2 million. Maybe he's thinking about number 2 because Mason.
Maybe that's what he got guaranteed. I remember looking at his contract a little bit. Either way, $6 million. $6 million. Sorry for that. Mm-hmm. Still, I think the concept's still there.
Yeah.
Where, you trade him, get that $6 million in cap space, and you get a dude like Brown. If you want to pay him $9 million, $10 million, that's still all right. You're only paying that dude $3 million. You got a linebacker you can trust, and now you have more freedom to draft either defensive line. Focus on other positions, and you're only giving up $3 million in your cap space technically because of how you're maneuvering everything. Like it's a no-brainer to me. You got to at least consider. You really have to consider.
I would consider it strongly.
That's way better than the Claypool thing, as you mentioned. Like the Claypool stuff, I'm not even thinking about right now. Really,
like I said, the only way that I could see them just totally throwing that idea away is if they truly believe that Devin is going to get better. He is going to dive in that tape. His film, his like play recognition. He's going to be a faster player.